Well, thanks for joining us. Good evening and welcome. This is the main news. My name is Batla Nyapurem.
And I am Tariro Manamike with Noble Maungwa at the Sign Language Desk. Let's take a look at the leading stories tonight. Amendment number 3 bill sails through the upper house with 75 senators voting for it. We'll be giving you details of what transpired in Senate today. National Hero Ambassador Victor Matemadanda to be buried at the National Heroes Acre on Friday. And another news, Zimbabwe and Malawi strengthen bilateral cooperation. We'll be looking at sport, where Africa representatives keep knockout stages hope alive at the ongoing 2026 FIFA World Cup. But as usual, let's start with tonight's top story. All right, so our top story, the constitutional amendment number 3 bill has sailed through the upper house after 75 senators voted in favor of the proposed amendments, with only 4 opposing it. The president of the Senate, Honorable Mabel Chinomona, presided over the voting process at Parliament Building in Mount Hampton this Wednesday. The bill, among other clauses, seeks to extend the presidential electoral cycle from 5 to 7 years and change the method of electing the president from a direct public vote to an election by joint sitting of Parliament. The overwhelming endorsement by Senate comes after the bill sailed through the National Assembly last week, and the bill now waits presidential assent. All right, we'll keep you updated and hear views from different parts of the country around this latest development. In other news, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has described the death of agriculture expert Dr. Robin Pawose, who once served as permanent secretary in the Lands and Agriculture Ministries, as a huge loss to the nation. In his condolence message, President Mnangagwa described the late Dr. Pawose, who died last Sunday, as a talented top public servant and outstanding corporate leader. The head of state added that the late former permanent secretary belonged to a pioneering crop of experts who were summoned back home at independence to take up leadership positions in the post-independence civil service. Dr. Pawose served in various capacities across both public and private sectors, with the president noting that even after he left government, his expertise was often relied upon, highlighting the various boards where he served. The late Dr. Pawose chaired the TIMB, ADA, AMA boards and the Biotechnology Council of Zimbabwe, with President Mnangagwa noting that his leadership was salutary and directional. The president expressed condolences on behalf of the ruling ZANU-PF party, government, his family and in his personal capacity. He says government accorded the late Dr. Pawose's state-assisted funeral in recognition of his outstanding contribution to national development. Now, the Midlands province has paid tribute to the Second Republic for conferring national hero status on the late Ambassador Victor Matemadanda, describing the honour as a recognition of his immense contribution to the liberation struggle and national development.
In 2018, Ambassador Victor Matemadanda was elected to represent Gokwe Central, and today the community bid farewell to the illustrious son of the soil.
Vanga vari baba wemuriese, vanga vari muyananisi, vanga vari munhu aigara achitikurudzira sevana kuti hakuna anonzi baba mukuru, hakuna anonzi baba munini.
Vanga vari munhu ane ushingi pabasa rake, pabasa rekudanyika yavo, pabasa rekutsigira musangano wavo weZANU-PF. Munhu anga akazvipira nemoyo wake wose.
Ndoda kumutenda nesacrifice he was prepared to take as a youngster achienda kuhondo kunorwira nyika yake.
As Midlands Province, we appreciate the President of the Republic for the conferment of the national hero status to one of our own, Comrade Victor Matemadanda. We have also lost a hard worker. We say, go well, Comrade Matemadanda.
The Midlands province has expressed gratitude to President Mnangagwa's leadership for according national hero status to Ambassador Matemadanda, which sees him being laid to rest at the national shrine, the National Heroes Acre.
The body of the later national hero, Ambassador Victor Matemadanda, has been received here in Sanyati in Mashonaland West Province. Ambassador Matemadanda represented Gokwe Central in the National Assembly in 2018. Receiving the body, Mashonaland West Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Marian Chombo, thanked President Emerson Mnangagwa for conferring the letter with a national hero status.
Taane vende risingakwanisiki kuvharika. Iye zvino ndoda kutenda president nekuti vaona zvakakodzera kuti nemabasa akabatwa na comrade Victor Matemadanda kuti vapiwe remekedzo rekuve gamba renyika kutaura kuti munhu avanga vachivimba naye.
Family representative Mr. Edward Matemadanda said the family has lost a unifier and a development champion.
Munhu anga nerudo nemhuri yese. Munhu anga nerudo nenharaunda. Tida kutendawo zvakare hurumende yapa mubereki wedu remekedzo kuti ainzi igamba. Tinochema zvakanyanya kuna Mwari chikonzero mushakabvu.
The body will lie in state here in Sanyati and will be airlifted back to Harare tomorrow.
Well, colleagues who worked closely with the late national hero, Comrade Victor Matemadanda, say the nation is poorer after the death of the fearless patriot, who played a key role in First and Second Republic. In an interview with ZBC News, Secretary of War Veterans in the ZANU-PF Politburo, Comrade Douglas Mahia, and the Director in the ZANU-PF Commissariat, Comrade Blessing Chebundo, gave a fitting tribute to the late Zimbabwe's ambassador to Mozambique and Eswatini.
As the country mourns the passing on of Comrade Victor Matemadanda, we managed to catch up with the people whom he interacted with. One of them is Comrade Douglas Mahia. They were instrumental in the birthing of the Second Republic. And he says he's not only poorer because of his passing on, but the party and the war veterans are also poorer. He was such a gallant fighter and a hard worker.
Matemadanda was a very brave character. Let's accept that there are people even in the revolution who could perform better than others out of bravery and understanding the principles of the revolution. Matemadanda was a brave guy. He was very brave. And one good thing about Matemadanda was that he could encourage you to work harder. He didn't mind about your mistakes because Matemadanda, a person who is useless, who is not working, does not make a mistake. So, Mahia, go and do the best that you do, but in the process, don't mind about the mistakes.
The coming in of the Second Republic also saw a lot of people who were active in opposition politics streaming back to ZANU-PF. Amongst them is one Blessing Chebundo, who is currently the man in charge of all the retainees in ZANU-PF. And he spoke to ZBC saying, the late Comrade Matemadanda was instrumental in his coming back to the party.
It's really a very sad experience and moment that the country loses such a gallant son of the soil. The program that I am responsible for in ZANU-PF or under ZANU-PF Commissariat Department is called Kumusha Home Ekaya. Symbol means people who would want to come back to ZANU-PF would ride over that program. This program is unique. For its uniqueness, it started during the tenure of Comrade Victor Matemadanda as the Commissar of ZANU-PF. He actually gave birth, in other words, he is the midwife to the birth of that important program. Important program because it's bringing people home. And he facilitated the birth of that.
So you have heard it. Comrade Matemadanda was a man of many worlds. You talk of the ZANU-PF Commissariat, where he was quite influential, and he rose up to become the National Political Commissar from 2017 to 2021. When he was deployed to Mozambique, where he became ambassador of Zimbabwe to Mozambique and the Kingdom of Eswatini. He was a passionate freedom fighter, a passionate family man, and a passionate party activist. The country is poorer because of his passing on. Ruben Barwes, ZBC News, at the ruling party headquarters in Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, has extended her condolences to the family of the late national hero, Comrade Victor Matemadanda, at the family home in Mount Pleasant Heights in Harare this Tuesday. The First Lady set aside her official engagements in Gweru to personally comfort the bereaved family, describing the late envoy to the Republic of Mozambique and the Kingdom of Eswatini as a close member of the First Family and a dedicated servant of the nation.
Arriving to a somber atmosphere marked by traditional song and dance, Amai Mnangagwa joined mourners in paying tribute, reflecting a role as a mother of the nation. She expressed deep sorrow over the passing on of Comrade Matemadanda, whose contribution to the country's liberation struggle and national development remained significant. At one point, the First Lady became emotional as she comforted the widow of the late national hero, whom she referred to as a sister, in a moving display of solidarity and compassion. The First Lady further highlighted Comrade Matemadanda's contribution to both the liberation struggle and post-independence national development, urging mourners to draw inspiration from his legacy of service and discipline.
Nguva nenguva ndanchigara ndiri pafoni navo, bamnini madini muripi madini ndinoenda kuMozambique, ndakaenda kuchimoyo kumakuva kwavana kuya, nokuti ndo vanga vamumiririri. Vakanditambira, vakandiratidza zvose, vakandiudza nebasa ravari kuita kuti vana vedu navamwe vakavigwa pasina kuita zvakanaka, ndo basa ravari kuita. Kati bamnini munozvigona here? Munozvikwanisa sei? Hamutyi here? Vakati maiguru ndiri muofeti, mwoyo wangu wakadini ndakasimba. Kati basa rawatanga iri bamnini harizoda kuti uperere panzira, toda kuti tione kuti kwese wafamba, tichitaurana zvedu pamafoni, tichisimbisana.
A family representative thanked the First Lady for the gesture extended to the Matemadanda family. The late Comrade Victor Matemadanda died on Saturday after a short illness. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Harare.
Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga says the Southern African region has the potential to unlock and boost economic value through enhanced public procurement, integration, collaboration. He outlined this position at the inaugural Southern Africa Public Procurement Forum launched in Harare today.
Public procurement is like at the heartbeat of public spending in most of Africa, estimated to account for 17% of the gross domestic product of most African countries. Regional integration and collaboration on public procurement processes is underlined as a strong component to advancing inclusive development and sustainability. Now, at the official launch of the Southern Africa Public Procurement Forum, SAPPF, in Harare this Wednesday, Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga noted the crucial role that public procurement plays in the context of Africa's economic development and the broader socio-economic environment.
This forum has been established as a platform through which member states can align policies, exchange experiences, and strengthen professional competence through training, research. It should become a catalyst for institutional excellence and a center for promoting procurement standards that meet international best practice.
At the core of an integrated public procurement process, the benefits are immense. Through this initiative, the Southern African Bloc expects timely delivery of high-quality public services, enhancing trade and improving transparency through the use of modern technologies.
As we advance regional integration under the auspices of the Southern African Development Community, and Africa Continental Free Trade Area, procurement systems must evolve beyond national boundaries.
Government has enacted a number of public procurement reforms. By spearheading this regional initiative, it commits to a global standard.
We are going to have specific enabling provisions for electronic government procurement and aligning of the regulatory framework with the digital procurement processes, tools, where we are now talking of the reverse auctions, the e-cataloging, online submissions.
Global partners have described the establishment of this forum as an important milestone that is aligned to the broader frameworks of the Africa Free Continental Trade Area, AFCTA.
Every step taken towards reform represents a milestone in achieving the broader development agenda. It's therefore imperative that the procurement community gathered here continues to pursue this transformation with determination, innovation, and a clear vision.
Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's focus to route procurement efficiency has seen a huge investment directed towards the construction of PRA's headquarters in Harare. Vice President Chiwenga toured the facility to assess progress. Zimbabwe now has a methodology for assessing procurement systems maps. This concept aligns with the aspects of NDS2, which is expanding e-procurement integration to combat corruption. Theophilus Chuma, NBC News, Harare.
The ruling ZANU-PF party has implored the youth to stick to the founding values and ideology of the liberation movement in their participation in socio-economic activities. More details in the upcoming report.
Speaking at a Youth League inter-district meeting at the ZANU-PF Harare provincial offices this Wednesday, ZANU-PF Secretary for Youth Affairs, Honorable Tinoda Machakaire, said youths must adhere to the founding principles, values and ideology of ZANU-PF in their endeavor to remain the vanguard of the ruling party.
Atidi chairman katsika kekuti ukatorwa picture uri paside pa president wakufungidza kuti wewe ndo wakumberi kwa president. Tinozviziva kuti president one open door policy, but chicha uri kuenda kunoita kuna president uri kunovaitira zvakanaka here kana kuti uda kutisvibisira president vedu. Variko chairman vari kuda kunotsvaga dzvene vachisvibisa president vaine maagenda avo atisingazivi kuti abva kupi. Mari ngazisapiwa vanhu usiku ngadzipiwa vanhu masikati. Empowerment haitwa usiku inoitwa masikati. You are the vanguard of the party. Therefore it is your right to defend the party.
Zvino imi basa renyu ndere kudefenda president mangwanani, mo defenda president masikati, mo defenda vamunangagwa manheru. Ani ndizvo? Mo defenda vamunangagwa kuchipisa. Mo defenda vamunangagwa kuchitonhora. Ani ndizvo? Saka nei isu sema youth tichimira na president. President vamunangagwa kubva vachipinda muna 2017 yatinoti second republic. Takatanga kuona president vedu vachiti aiwa nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. Hakuna achabva kunze kuuya kuzotivakira Zimbabwe yatinoda kana kutivakira ZANU-PF yatinoda. Isu ndisu tinovaka nyika yedu. Saka isusu takati aiwazve kana tina president anogona zvakadai ndiye striker wedu weZANU-PF watinofana kusvika naye kusvika tasvika gore ra2030.
Honorable Paradza further delivered a stern warning against individuals who soil the image of the president.
Kune vese vanofunga kuti vane mari yekubetsera musangano ngavabatsire party structure reZANU-PF. Vanhu vese vari muno vanosapota vamunangagwa, vanomira navamunangagwa vanenge vachichema kuti ko zvino ko isuwo tichaonekwa rini. Saka ndoda kuti nditaurire makomrades anofunga kuti anogona kubatsira ZANU-PF vazive kuti ZANU-PF ndo inobatsira vanhu kwete ivo kubatsira ZANU-PF. Kana mapinda muZANU-PF munovhunza varimo kuti ndanonga chihwitsi changu ndinochiisa papi. Kune mumwe munhu wokuti anotuka president. Obva awadwa kunzi akatuka president seuye anonzi Matinyararira. Ndoda kuti zvive clear kuti zviya zviitiki kana ini ndiri mukuru wenyu. Kana vamachakaire vari mukuru wenyu. Zviya hatifi takazvitolareta. Shuwa kuti munhu mumwe chete anopuwa 200,000 nekupuwa 300 series nekuti akatuka president. Ndokutaura imota yo tikaiona toitora chete.
Now, the interface was attended by members of the ZANU-PF Harare Province Youth League and several provincial leaders, including ZANU-PF Harare Province Chairperson, Comrade Goodwills Masimire Mbwa.
Now, the government says it is on a drive to accelerate digital media sovereignty through a nationwide broadcasting modernization program that blends terrestrial and satellite technologies. Some of the highlights from the Transmedia Annual General Meeting that was held today.
The 18th Annual General Meeting, which brought together financial analysts and various stakeholders, witnessed the sole signal distribution entity highlighting its expansion coverage to underserved areas while integrating clean energy and digital innovation into its infrastructure.
The corporation experienced an 11% increase in income in inflation-adjusted terms to a ZWL 79.08 million, driven largely by onboarding of new television broadcasters and the expanded network coverage of existing FM radio broadcasters, as well as uptake of passive infrastructure rental space by MNOs, the mobile network operators.
2026 promises to be a very, very positive year for us in terms of delivering our KPIs, and the major milestone is going to be the movement or the dial for digital terrestrial television coverage. And it's because we are definitely going to install 5 of the transmitters, the first one since 2015. That is a major milestone for us, and the credit must go to our ministry. We have been very much relentless in pursuit of looking for funding.
The Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jemusoda, highlighted the significance of transmedia as a conduit for information between broadcasting stations and communities.
My ministry expects transmedia to be run on commercial basis, at the same time observing its social responsibility of facilitating information dissemination to all our citizens. Therefore, a balance has to be struck in order to fulfill these expectations. Although you registered an operating profit during the period under consideration, the cash flow position is not satisfactory due to erratic payments by broadcasters for services that you offer to them. I therefore implore you to explore means and ways by which you should recover from your debtors. I'm aware that the amendment to the Broadcasting Services Act has brought financial relief to the corporation, but that should just complement your ordinary revenue streams and not to be dependent upon.
According to Transmedia Corporation's financial report, the entity recorded a positive trading performance during the first quarter of 2026, supported by improved revenue from motor vehicle radio license fees, revenue sharing, transmission services, and infrastructure leasing arrangements. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
All eyes are on Masvingo this week as the province hosts the National Disability Expo that is meant to showcase talent, innovation, as well as other opportunities for people who are living with disabilities from across the country. And our reporter, Fungai Jaji, was at the venue and she filed this report.
Masvingo's Mucheke Stadium has become a hub of ability this week. Hundreds of exhibitors with disabilities are proving that disability does not mean inability. From crafts and agriculture to ICT and education, this expo is about skills, dignity, and inclusion.
The expo brings together organizations, government departments, and people with disabilities from all 10 provinces. Stalls display products made by persons with disabilities, assistive technologies, and services available to support independent living. For the exhibitors, the expo is a platform to grow their businesses.
National program inoita kuti vanhu vose vomunyika muno vaone vakaonawo business rangiri, they can come to be potential buyers.
Tinouya panapa kuti at least vanhu vaone zvinhu zvatinenge tinazvo voonawo kuti zvinovabatsira sei.
The Provincial Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Ezra Chadzamira, says hosting the event will leave the city of Masvingo more developed.
Chirongwa ichi chichauyisa vashanyi vanobva kune dzimwe nyika vanenge vari pano zvekare kune mamwe maprovince zvosiya mabusiness edu abudirira.
Special Advisor on National Disability Issues, Comrade Rosempofu, noted government's commitment to empowering people with disabilities.
Takuta manje kuti vanhu vakarimara kuite development, empower them so that they can see that vari vanhu munyika yavo.
Beyond exhibitions, the event features skills training, job linkages, and awareness on disability rights. Organizers say the goal is to break stigma and connect persons with disabilities to markets, funding, and employment opportunities.
The message from Mucheke Stadium is clear. Inclusion grows economies. And as the National Disability Expo continues, the call is for more partnerships to ensure that persons with disabilities have access to equal opportunities. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Masvingo.
Well, plans to launch a Southern Africa Development Community Channel are now at an advanced stage, with the Southern African Broadcasters Association, SABA, having presented a business plan for the channel. The business plan will be tabled before the High Ministerial Roundtable on Thursday at the ongoing SADC cluster meeting of ministers responsible for transport, ICT, information and meteorology in Bulawayo.
Day 3 of the SADC cluster meeting of ministers responsible for transport, information, communication technology and meteorology brought Southern Africa closer to a shared television channel.
We presented the business plan to the meeting of senior officials, and it was very, very well received. I guess the next step now is for that business plan to be presented to the meeting of ministers, and then at that point the ministers will then provide guidance as to what happens after that.
The channel is set to leverage on AI-driven translation to promote regional integration.
We've looked into using AI, right, to actually, or adopting AI to help with the translations.
After 3 days of closed sessions by senior SADC officials, the meeting reaches a crucial point this Thursday as the ministers join the discussions.
Tomorrow, we will have our ministers meeting to discuss all these issues in what we call a high-level roundtable dialogue. They will meet, and the theme of this dialogue is actually liberalizing the skies.
Southern Africa has always used airwaves to unite. If the ministers say yes to the business proposal, the dream of uniting 16 nations under one channel will soon be realized. Lisa Correra, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Constitutional Amendment No. 3 bill has sailed through the upper house after 75 senators voted in favor of the proposed amendments, with only 4 opposing it. And our political editor, Bruce Chawanda, gives us the details.
The result of the count is that 75 honorable senators have voted in favor of the third reading of the bill, and 4 have voted against the bill.
Honorable,
Mebo Chinomona, the Senate President, has announced the results for the voting process. To explain further on what is going to take place, we are joined by the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziambi Ziambi. Your reading in terms of what transpired today and yesterday.
Thank you very much. We had a robust debate, and I must state that about 55 honorable senators debated, and of those 50 were in favor and only 5 had dissenting voices. But by and large, it was an enriching debate. And I must add that what came out is that this House was not just a rubber stamping House. They managed to pick things that we didn't identify in the National Assembly, and we corrected them here. So what we did is we had amendments that were proposed by the Senate that we felt we needed to include. For example, we had omitted the procedure for the first sitting of Parliament after an election, and Senate highlighted that, and other consequential amendments that Senate felt we needed to do, and we duly did that, and thereafter Senate voted. I think it was overwhelming. You saw the vote that before the tailors could even count, it was very clear that the Senate had agreed to the bill in their numbers. So what is going to happen now is we are going to take the amendments proposed by the Senate to the National Assembly, and hopefully we'll consult His Excellency, because we had adjourned the National Assembly until the 7th of July, but we need to recall the National Assembly so that we deliberate on the amendments proposed by Senate. So hopefully next week we should conclude the business of CAP 3 and we move forward.
When you say concluding the business of CAP 3, what exactly do you mean after all those processes? What will take place after?
After we recall the National Assembly and they have considered the amendments proposed by the Senate, the bill will then be transmitted to His Excellency for his assent and signature. And once that is done, it now becomes part of our Constitution and it will become operational.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. You have heard the Zimbabweans from the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziambi Ziambi, giving us an insight into what took place for the last 2 days and what's going to happen in the near future.
All right, that was our political editor, Bruce Chawanda, giving us the update on the passing of CAB 3. Now, for these and more stories, you can visit our website. That's www.zpc.co.zw. Or you can also follow us on our social media platforms. That's on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on X. And our handle is @ZPC News Online.
All right, you can get all the latest on what has been taking place, the process leading up to what transpired today at Senate, and also part of our live broadcast, just in case you might have missed what happened, you can also catch it there. But there are more stories to come on this bulletin, and this is what you can look forward to.
Zimbabwe and Malawi strengthen bilateral cooperation. And Africa's representatives keep knockout stage hopes alive at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And that and more in sport. We take a break, but we'll be right back.
We've always known what it takes to grow. But this is what it feels like to finally step inside the dream. It's that quiet moment when a room holds everything it used to be and everything it made possible. That this is actually mine feeling when the first payment hits, That pure adrenaline from a small space to an empire you rule. And when you said you'd almost sleep in your first car, we made sure you actually did. Plans may adapt, circumstances will evolve, but your growth, that's non-negotiable. Bank on growth with Stanbic Bank Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is our home, and we drive her growth.
Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme. Is that KFC's Chimichurri Burger facing off with KFC's Prego? Chimi looks creamy, the Prego looks spicy, tangy, fiery, zesty, punchy. Ah! They both look so good! KFC's Chimi versus KFC's Prego. Pick your side.
Beneath our soil lies more than mineral wealth. It is opportunity, innovation, and the foundation of Zimbabwe's industrial future. From resource extraction to value addition, manufacturing, transport, and energy, Zimbabwe is driving growth through mining value chains. And every year, the leaders shaping this future gather under one roof. Welcome to Mine Entra 2026, the premier platform where mining companies, suppliers, investors, innovators, and policymakers connect, collaborate, and unlock new opportunities. Join us from the 29th to the 31st of July 2026 at the Zimbabwe International Conference and Exhibition Smart City in Bulawayo. Exhibit at Mine Entra 2026 to expand your network and grow your business. Register your attendance today. Mine Entra 2026. Unearth, transform, prosper. Anchoring economic transformation through mining value chain.
Across Africa, a new era has begun. Shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Today, we are making a brighter tomorrow, built by our dreams and our energy. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Wemsangano wedu ZANU-PF musi wa 27 June ndiro zuva rekugadzira masero yese. Mwana wese kusero kwako, munhu wese dzoka kusero. Utarise kuti zita rako rakanyoriwa here kana harina. Utarise kuti iwe wachona urimo here musero. Mwana wese kusero kwako, munhu wese dzoka kusero. Musi wa 27 June ndiro zuva rekugadzira masero. Youth League yese dzoka kusero. Women's League yese hande kusero. Men Wing yese hande kusero. War Veterans dzoka kusero. Nemashefu edu dzoka kusero. ZANU-PF yese hande kusero. Sazosara ndechitima chedu sununguko kana chava kusimuka. Sazosara ndechitima chedu sununguko kana chava kusimuka.
Uya nechitupa chako uone kuti zita rako rakanyogwa nemazvo here.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news. Now, the midterm review of the 11th session of the Zimbabwe-Malawi Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation has started in Harare as the two countries seek to strengthen bilateral cooperation.
The two-day meeting is co-chaired by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Ambassador Albert Chimbindi, and Malawi's Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Chonzi Simwaka. Delegates are reviewing progress on the previously signed agreements, identifying new opportunities, as well as focusing on future relations. In his opening remarks, Ambassador Chimbindi outlined the importance of the review in shaping the future of Zimbabwe and Malawi relations.
The MTR affords us the opportunity to review progress, where progress has been made, and we pat ourselves on the back. To accelerate implementation of projects, to resolve outstanding matters, and take corrective action as necessary. This also to ensure that all instruments of cooperation yield measurable and tangible benefits for our peoples and economies.
According to Mr. Simwaka, Malawi is also committed to the implementation of signed agreements with Zimbabwe.
Malawi remains firmly committed to the ideals and objectives of the Joint Commission of Cooperation being maintained by the two countries as a building block for regional integration. We believe that regional integration remains one of the most effective pathways towards achieving sustainable economic growth, peace, security, and prosperity for our people.
The Zimbabwe and Malawi Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation is a bilateral framework aimed at strengthening socio-economic, political, and trade relations between the two nations. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
4 candidates have been interviewed to fill the vacant position of the commissioner at the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission.
The 4 shortlisted candidates appeared before Parliament's Committee on Standing Rules and Orders, CSRO, for public interviews to fill a vacancy on the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission that arose after the resignation of a sitting commissioner. Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Kennedy Chokoda, described the public interviews as a vital exercise in ensuring transparency and upholding democratic integrity in the appointment of commissioners.
The Constitution says the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders shall conduct interviews of persons for possible appointment to the various independent commissions. So in this instance, we're just filling 1 vacancy on the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. We always value the screening the interviews to the rest of the nation so that at least they appreciate what goes on during the interviews, and also for us to be open as required by Section 141 of the Constitution.
Parliament's Committee on Standing Rules and Orders received 52 nominations after inviting members of the public to submit nominations for possible appointment to the Commission before shortlisting 4 candidates who attended the public interviews. John Nandara, ZBC News, Mount Abden.
Well, Zimbabwe has been challenged to harness the China zero-tariff policy extended to African countries starting in May this year to explore the huge and diverse Chinese export market.
The 2-week-long seminar deliberated on several issues, including culture and tourism cooperation and Zimbabwe-China economic relations. Speaking at the closing ceremony, Academy for International Business Officials, IBO Deputy Director, Executive Department, Mr. Wu Hao, noted the need for Zimbabwe to harness China's zero-tariff policy recently extended to African countries through diplomatic relations with the Asian nation.
The development of China-Zimbabwe relations, in particular, has become a model of China-Africa cooperation. And with the officially implementation of the China's zero-tariff policy on African countries, starting May 1st this year, a preferential channel has been opened for Zimbabwe to entering the Chinese market.
The Zimbabwean delegation was led by Deputy Director in Zimbabwe's Ministry of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Mr. Reward Shokson, who commended the organizers for insights into an integrated tourism and culture system.
We have had the privilege of engaging with remarkable professionals, immersing ourselves with rich cultural experience, and witnessing firsthand the successful integration of culture, tourism, and economic growth.
The seminar was attended by a 32-member delegation from Zimbabwe, comprising the Ministries of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Tourism and Hospitality Industry, the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe, and the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Wadzanai Mumbera, ZBC News, Beijing.
And that story takes us off to a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches from as little as $10. Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We now give you the business news. Air Zimbabwe is preparing to resume direct flights between Harare and London from the 1st of July. The development is expected to improve connectivity for travelers, business people, tourists, as well as Zimbabweans who are living in the United Kingdom, who have for years relied on connecting flights through Europe, the Middle East and other regional hubs. Earlier this year, during a public lecture at the Harare Institute of Technology, Mutapa Investment Fund Chief Executive Officer Dr. John Mangunjga revealed that Air Zimbabwe's return was on a wet-to-lease basis. The move is meant to ensure that the national airline increases the frequency of its flights locally, regionally and internationally, since the suspension of its London operations in 2012 was due to fleet depletion as well as operational challenges. The Harare-London route has long been viewed as Air Zimbabwe's flagship international service, generating significant passenger and cargo revenue. The strategic move is also part of a broader plan to revitalize the national carrier and enhance its operational capabilities.
Well, that is our look at business news. Sport is on the other side.
This July, get ready for stories that will make your heart race. From love and passion to secrets and lies that can ruin everything. Catch the sizzling episodes of Sins and Roses at 4 p.m, Domenica Monteiro at 5 p.m, Be My Sunshine at 6 p.m, and Avenida Brazil at 7 p.m, Central African Time. Only on Novelas Plus, Channel 133 on DSTV.
It's not a new term,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but a continuation of progress. So, Zimbabwe,
Yeah, yeah.
let us build our Zimbabwe.
Forward again. Hatizokere shure 7 years strong to the Kuvaka future. Forward again. See politics tishande, not a new term, just progress we handling. Forward again. Hatizokere shure 7 years strong to the Kuvaka future. Forward again. See politics tishande, not a new term, just progress we handling. Umbiro redu rakanyorwa neso tinori chinja kana nguva yasvika. Nofamba nenguva nyika ichikura. Development ndiyo yave kutungamira. Makore manomwe basa richionekwa. Maproject ese opera zvakanaka. Kwete kungoramba tiri mu election mood. Ngatishande tese tite zvinhu good.
This constitution belongs to the people. We can amend it, make the system more equal. Time for development, less campaign noise. Building the nation, giving up to the boys. 7-year cycle gives time to complete. Roads and the schools make the country compete. Less money wasted on elections again. Put it in progress, invest in the land.
Tina bantu sivuma ndawonye. Mthetho wethu siwubhala sonke. Uma isikhathi sichinja siyaguqula. Sifuna intuthuko ilizwe liyakhula. Iminyaka yisikhombisa iyasiza. Ama-project onke azophela kuhle. Asifuna ukuhlala sivota njalo. Sifuna umsebenzi kusasa lihle. Forward again. Hatizokere shure 7 years strong to the Kuvaka future. Forward again. See politics tishande, not a new term, just progress we handling. Forward again.
Oh, great to have you back. Let's take a look at sport. The Zimbabwe Chevrons have intensified preparations ahead of the test match against Bangladesh, which starts on Sunday at Harare Sports Club, with the hosts looking to build on the momentum from their last outing in the longest format of the game. Lawrence Trusida reports.
Zimbabwe is back on the pitch preparing to face Bangladesh in the longest format of the game. It's been almost a year out of action, but the Chevrons are happy with the preparations that they've put so far, and they're looking to carry on the momentum after winning their last test match last year in October.
We don't play a lot of test cricket in a calendar year, so it's important to try and maintain the momentum that we had at the end of last year. It's important for us to start, I guess, the start of the next season well. There's obviously going to be a few new faces, a few new roles. So look, it's an exciting time, and it's an opposition that we need to really measure ourselves well against.
The former opening batsman also emphasized the need for a positive approach.
Now it's all about trusting themselves, believing in their abilities, and going out and doing what they do best. I think sometimes we can overcomplicate things with too much being said, and this is the format where simplicity and basics hold up.
The test match signals the start of a busy period for the Chevrons, as they will get to face Bangladesh again in the One-Day International as well as the T20s before India come to Zimbabwe next month. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Harare.
The race for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, a round of 32, is gathering momentum, with Africa's representatives enjoying mixed fortunes heading into the final round of the group matches.
With the 10 teams representing the continent at the expanded 48-team tournament, several African nations remain on course for the knockout stage, while others are battling to keep their World Cup dreams alive. Ghana have emerged as one of the continent's success stories after missing the 2022 tournament. The Black Stars opened their campaign with a 1-0 victory over Panama before holding England to a goalless draw, which left the nations level on 4 points heading into the final round of matches. The two teams have 1 foot into the knockout stage, with the top 2 progressing, while 8 best third-placed teams will also move to the round of 32. Morocco are almost guaranteed a place in the round of 32 and will continue to build on the momentum generated by their historic semi-final run in Qatar 4 years ago. The Atlas Lions followed the draw against Brazil with a victory over Scotland and need only a point against Haiti to strengthen their position at the top of Group C. Egypt are also well placed to advance after collecting 4 points from their opening 2 matches. The Pharaohs shared the spoils with Belgium before registering a 3-1 victory over New Zealand and now require a draw against Iran to confirm their place in the knockout rounds. Côte d'Ivoire remain firmly in contention despite suffering a setback against Germany. The Elephants opened their campaign with a victory over Ecuador before a narrow defeat to Germany and now face debutants Curaçao, knowing that a win will significantly improve their qualification prospects. Algeria also kept their hopes alive after bouncing back from defeat to Argentina with a crucial victory over Jordan. The Desert Foxes must now overcome Austria to secure passage to the round of 32. South Africa face an uphill task after collecting just a point from their opening 2 matches. Bafana require victory over South Korea and favorable results elsewhere could keep the campaign alive. DRC's hopes suffered a match setback following a defeat to Colombia. With just a point from 2 matches, the Central Africans must beat Uzbekistan and hope other results go their way. Tunisia have already been eliminated after losing their opening 2 matches and will play their last group fixtures for pride alone. As the group stage reaches its climax, Morocco, Ghana and Egypt look best placed to lead Africa's charge into the knockout stages, while Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal and Cape Verde could still salvage a place among the final 32. Anna Shembrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
And we're all looking forward to all the matches at the World Cup. The weather report and forecast is next.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and let's get right into our weather. This morning, we had a bit of ground frost in Nyanga and surrounding areas, though by afternoon it was mostly sunny and mild across the entire country. Tomorrow morning, we are expecting an influx of dry air to cause a bit of slight ground frost in areas all along the central watershed, though by evening tonight, it should be cold across the entire country with a few nights along the central high veld and milder weather in the low-lying areas, Kariba with 14 degrees. But by afternoon tomorrow, it should be mild right across the country, especially warmer in areas along the Zambezi Valley. Getting into a detailed forecast in Bulawayo, it should be cold in the morning, becoming mild by afternoon with a bit of wind. And in Matobo, cold in the morning as well with a minimum of 9 and a slight chance of ground frost, though warming up by afternoon. And in Gwanda as well, should expect to see some windy conditions towards evening due to some incoming southeasterly winds. And in Mashingo, cold in the morning, though warmer by afternoon, cooling down as we get into the weekend. And Gweru as well should be mild for much of the day tomorrow. And Mutare, cold in the morning, becoming mild by afternoon, though warming up by Sunday. In Nyanga, should be very cold in the morning with a minimum of 5 degrees and a maximum of 19, falling further as we get into the weekend. And in Marondera, maximum of 22 degrees Celsius for tomorrow and dipping a bit as we get into the weekend. Harare should be mild for Thursday and Friday, though warming up a bit as we get into early next week. In Kweke, we are expecting cold mornings with a minimum of 8 degrees Celsius for Thursday. And in Kaloma, should be warm daytime conditions, though cold in the morning. Chinoi should see warm daytime conditions as well for Thursday, though cooling down into the weekend. And Lupane should expect to see warm daytime conditions right across that forecast period, though Bindura cooling down as we get into the weekend, warming up by Sunday. In Victoria Falls, it should be warm with a light breeze time and time again, though a bit cooler in the morning. Kariba with that valley effect, mild in the morning, though much warmer by afternoon. This has been our weather report and forecast. Thank you for tuning in.
Right, the weather report and forecast bringing us to the end of tonight's main news.
Indeed, from all of us here at our Pocket Hill studios, it's good night.